the ledge mushrooms that grow off the sides of the trees. And yeah, see, he used to be a botanist, so he knows all the names of all this stuff. He knows the nerd names. He'll tell you in Latin, and you'll go, what?
Oh, nice.
But you're about to be devoured by something.
Oh, what? I am over the moon excited that I have someone who is so near and dear to my heart coming to visit my store today. George the Antique Nomad is someone who I have just looked up to, forged a friendship with because of our common love of antiques and cool vintage stuff. And he called and said he was in town and would I like to get together? I'm like, ask me a hard question. So yeah, just I can't even be more excited. He's coming here to the Good Stuff Thrift Store.
I've been excited about who's coming in today, George the Antique Nomad. I don't know him personally, but I follow him online. I've been learning from him. I believe since he's been on with Danny the Niche Lady, his live probably maybe 2 months ago, maybe a little longer, but I've been following him since then and learning some stuff. And I have one particular item inside our boutique, the Reseller Cartel shop here inside the Good Stuff Thrift Store. This piece right here is one that I didn't think was going to be worth more than say $100. Come to find out through a friend actually online reading out to us, which is also good about the community that we're in, is not just here locally, it's also online. So Mary reached out to me and schooled me on some of the information, but she actually told me George the Nomad may know more about this, to send him photos. I'm not going to say anything, but I'm wondering if he's going to pick it up and kind of give a little history lesson, because I know some of it, but maybe he knows more about it. And I'm just curious on what this one item would do when he sees it.
So my daughter Jordan is in town, and every time she comes out here, I just have to get her involved.
I'm Jordan. I am my mother's daughter, and I am here to mess things up and add a little chaos to her life since Bougie can't be at the store.
So we have a surprise guest here today, and we are going to go, we're going to try this. We're going to hope that the signal holds out. We're going to go up on my stage area, whoop, and kind of go through some stuff. Oh,
and in we go.
Let me turn around so you can see who's walking in the door.
So we're going in past the foyer.
Can you hear the voice
here,
yet?
And you see on the right side that they have Christmas stuff. This is all on sale right now.
This is like the best birthday / Christmas present I could have ever
and I noticed
ever
that
had.
Have some
is
Department 56 in
this
here
guy
still, which at 25%
coming to
surprises
Vegas
me a little bit
and
because
coming to shop my store
we just
with
had
me.
a big estate. I also already see somebody who is familiar coming. We're all walking backwards today, aren't we? Yes. Hello there.
So they didn't know who was here, and I just told him I got a surprise guest here today.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, look at everybody's like, George!
My name is George Higbee, and I am known as the Antique Nomad on YouTube and other social media. I have been in the antique and vintage business for a long time, and I travel coast to coast. I buy and sell, I conduct estate sales, I do appraisal work, and I just love sharing what I have learned over the years and learning from other people, because my attitude is that knowledge has the power to make antique and vintage collecting way more fun. Yes, it's all sort of meta, yes.
We're filming and being filmed.
We are live on 2 channels right now. We're live on the Antique Nomad, and we're live on the Niche Lady, and we are having a great time, and I am so excited to be here. And how are we going to do this? Are you going to show me around the store, or am I going to just shop it like I would?
I think we just like to eavesdrop a little bit, and and then we'll go up there and do some stuff, because I have some stuff that I'm really anxious for you to see. Cool. I actually have something stockpiled in my office that I'm anxious for you to give a look at, too.
Oh, okay, that's great. I was into this as a very little kid. I found a wheat penny on the ground when I was 4 years old as we were walking into the Navy Exchange, and my mother said, "Are you going to buy penny candy?" And I said, "No." And my sister said, "Are you going to buy a penny toy?" And I said, "No, I'm going to keep it." And I still have it. So it was just sort of in my blood. But we were thrifters. My parents moved around a lot, so we always knew we were going to move in a few years. So we never bought anything retail. I just grew up that way. We had I wish I had it now. We had a really cool 50s boomerang kidney-shaped coffee table in the 1970s when that was totally out of style. I think they paid $5 for it. I'm sure it's worth about $500 now. But we just always had old stuff in the house, and so I was used to that, and I thought it was interesting. We ended up living in an old house. There were bottle digs and things to scrounge around, and it just, old stuff was just always part of my life. And I just love it. And then when I went into business, it was working for a husband and wife who had a factory outlet center because I had an advertising and marketing degree, but they also owned a chain of antique malls. And they said, well, what makes you think that you would understand what people want in terms of old things? And I said, well, I collect coins, I collect stamps, and there's the car I drove to the interview, and it was a 1960 Studebaker, and they looked at me and said, I think you can understand our customer, you're hired. And it was so great because I got this hands-on education where I got to handle all sorts of amazing antiques. It was before eBay, so all the best stuff came to their stores, and I just learned a ton and immediately knew that antiques and vintage was what I was going to be doing for the rest of my life.
He doesn't just know what stuff is, he knows why stuff is. And I will just say that I had the tremendous pleasure of getting to go to an antique mall with him yesterday and shop and listen and ask questions. And so I'm really, really excited to have him here at the Good Stuff Thrift Store to kind of go through things, because for those that don't know, my stage area is all the items that I had curated for antique malls in the area that I closed down, and I brought everything here. So I'm excited to have him go take a look at what I've stockpiled over time and look at my pricing a little bit.
And I'm excited because we had a great day at the Antique Mall yesterday. You will be seeing video on my main channel and of course on the Niche Lady and on Thrifting Vegas.
That's right,
she was with us.
Tiffany shopped with us too.
Yes,
yeah.
We had a great time. In fact, we were there for hours and we closed the place down. So there'll be some good video coming out of that. But I saw when you did a walk around here, and there are a few things that I need to see if they're still here, because I have a little mental list of things I need to buy while I'm here.
So I would love your take on some of like the vintage pieces of furniture.
I really like these chairs, and I'm
Aren't they
curious.
great?
Yeah, are they vintage or are they retro?
No, they're new, vintage inspired.
Right, vintage inspired, so
Yeah.
retro, but they look really comfortable.
They are.
And I have to say, they remind me a little bit of the Papa Bear chairs, which would be $3,000 each. So
Really?
I can see why, somebody should be excited
all
about
right.
these. This is interesting to me because it's the leather top with the tooling, and sometimes these drawers are false, but this one is real.
There's
and
a drawer on each side.
Yes, and it's got old tags in it, that, or at least on this side, you're going to see an old tag that says genuine mahogany.
Okay.
And that means that it is from Grand Rapids, Michigan, because they use that label. It was a big furniture production center. Still is, actually. They make lots of metal industrial furniture, steel cases there. A lot of the people who ended up being involved with Knoll came from there, so big furniture making tradition. These more traditional pieces, I think this is a really good time to be buying this kind of thing if you like it, because I am noticing that millennial age buyers, they are sick of, that's her, exactly.
You're sick of the IKEA stuff yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, my niece is probably about your age, and she talks all the time now about, I'm so sick of my IKEA. My house looks like everyone else's house. I want something fancy. And she's looking for traditional furniture. And you can't really buy traditional furniture new, so you have to go to thrift stores and in the used market. And so I think that's actually a great thing to have in here. And I bet it won't last long.
Yeah. Well, we don't know how to price it.
Of course, pricing is also subjective to what you got into it, and you're selling in a thrift store environment.
Yep,
so
thrift
you
store
want to
price.
make
What do you
it
think?
thrift
What
store
would you
price
put on it?
Up to maybe $65.
Perfect.
Yeah.
There we go. So this was kind of a thing that sprung up for me. I shop in California with my millennial daughter a lot.
That's me.
So when I'm in California shopping, the Goodwills there have these beautiful cubbies, and for my brain, it really helps me shop. I just can like focus on the different things. So that was one of the things I was like, I want to do the cubbies. And then we're like, oh, and then the color blocking, and just make it like an upscale thrift store. Still thrift store pricing, but you know, you want to feel like you could get something here and give it as a gift. We do not put out the broken and dirty and clunky, and it's very curated, but that stuff does not end up in the landfill. Clothing, shoes, that type of thing that's not worthy of coming out here on the floor, we donate it to the homeless community. And things that are good, like a chipped teacup or crafting supplies that may not work out here, we have a whole bin in front that is free for the taking. Anybody who comes in, you see something there that you can use, take it with you, repurpose it. And so we're all about that. But then we put the cream of the crop out on the floor.
Oh, that's really great. I think that's really smart. I've been to thrift shops that also run as boutiques. I mean, Goodwill and Salvation Army do it in their more upscale places like Santa Barbara, Seattle, and it does really well. And the prices are still reasonable, but it means that people who are looking for something nice can go there. It's not just sort of leftover garage sale stuff.
Yeah. George, I call him a walking encyclopedia of, he doesn't just tell you what the item is, he can tell you why the item is that, and the story behind it, and the, how the manufacturers came to be, and how they changed hands and looks changed, and like, I could just listen to him nonstop give this information. So I'm really, really happy he has his own channel.
And I'm excited about it because a lot of things that we maybe haven't been able to sell for a while that you can find in thrift stores today are starting to be things that they're looking for. It's a nice
She's coveting.
It's a real nice plate.
It is a real nice plate.
You just changed over from green to blue, right?
I've always been blue.
Oh.
But I've always been green too.
They go well together. It's an easy
Look,
mix.
there's green and blue on there.
Tired of plain, tired of boring, tired of throwaway paper plates.
I've been pushing for the EAPG to make a comeback for a long time.
Well, you know what? I started buying early American pattern glass because I watched your enthusiasm for it, and I'll tell you, I've sold every piece that I bought. I have to be honest, I started the channel because I had the benefit of so many people over the years teaching me things, and so I just wanted to share that with people, and I didn't really know in the new era how to really reach people. And a friend of mine, Xenomorph, who does my tech stuff, he said, you've got to use social media. You need to start a YouTube channel. And I said, oh, okay. And I had no idea. So I thought, boy, if 100 people watch this, that would be so great. But then other YouTubers found me and they liked what I was doing and they were learning from me and we were sharing ideas and they talked about me and suddenly all these people discovered me and now I've got 35,000 subscribers and it's just really fun because I feel like I can see people absorbing this, learning from it, doing better. The resellers are learning more and they're becoming more knowledgeable. The collectors are becoming more knowledgeable and understanding not just what they collect, but what maybe their family member, their husband collects. I figure it's a way to keep things out of landfills because if people understand what other people see in something, then they're more likely to want to preserve it and keep it around and think that it's cool.
Today is an important day. There are people visiting the store, other YouTubers that are apparently super important and like people know them or something. I don't know. So let's go get chaotic.
The price on this, I mean, it was $5.99 and now half off. So, you know, that's $3. That is definitely
We're trying.
Yeah, no, you've got some things in here that are real bargains. So let's see what else we have. Oh yeah, the old
Elegant Depression glass.
This is Heisey Orchid. This used to be a really expensive pattern, and it's a very nice pattern, but people, you're at half off, you're $12.99.
Yep.
I really am looking as a reseller, even though it's clear, and I know clear hasn't been so popular the last several years, it doesn't mean everyone's forgotten about it, and it doesn't mean it has no value. This used to be a $65 piece.
I found this sweater thrifting, and it was a Christmas T-Rex. And I was like, you know what would go good with this? A T-Rex costume. So that's what's happening now. And I've worn this around several times. And now we're gonna go surprise my mom with it. She doesn't know that I brought this with me.
We got
And your
customers
collector will be
coming in.
happy because Heisey Orchid's a wonderful old pattern. It was all fire polished. It was really well made.
I actually have some living ones of these now in my fish tank.
Oh,
That I'll
that's
have to
cool.
share with everybody.
That big?
Yes, this size. And I didn't know what these look like as real creatures. So
You're about to be devoured by something.
oh, what?
Hello, I don't know who we're meeting
We have
here,
a visitor.
The famous Christmas dino.
Oh, that's wonderful. Dinosaurs for Christmas. This must be a Vegas thing. I've never seen this before. Well, hello there.
Hello.
It's a pleasure to meet you and shake your. What do dinosaurs
Pleasure
have?
to eat you.
Yes, thank you. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Don't go near the china though.
I'll be shopping for everything.
Are you
Tail.
going to go up on my stage like that?
I might.
Oh no. Oh no, you need a handler. You need a handler. You know, we just do wacky things around here. I have a wacky family, and you just never know what's going to happen around here.
Well, I like the lamp because it's very
80s.
80s Deco revival. Yes, this is starting to come back. The lamp bases, you know, people always are sending me things and asking me who made this lamp, and we don't always know because a lot of lamp companies came and went.
Right.
And it wasn't marked McCoy or Brush. It just, if it has anything, it'll have a little stock number on it.
Right.
And you have it with the flower frog, I
Right.
see, which is also generally not a piece that you see with it. And
Yeah, this is another piece
cool.
that I did say that is a Hager with a chip right down there.
Oh, yeah.
Little-
Nice,
But I
though.
just love that green
And
glaze.
actually, the piece in front of
Yeah,
it that you
that's it.
have, that looks like, oh, German, huh? I wasn't expecting that. This actually looks a lot more like Spanish pottery of that same era, early 70s, but they all sort of copied each other in that time, and I think your price is just great on that.
Yay!
Also, but he pointed out to me, and I have to show it because it's fantastic.
Oh, right.
Love
Yes.
this. This is vintage. It's so nice to see one that isn't a reproduction. And that one is, yeah, that one is priced at $300. That is absolutely worth $300.
Okay.
There's no question about that price.
It's really nice to hear him say that my prices were right and that he bought stuff from my booth. So I like, what does that tell you? So yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, they said that. Yeah, when he started out, his business partner said that is not a name that's going to sell. You're going to be Georges Briard. So that's where that came from.
Oh, that's interesting.
But yeah, this is really cool. These are a little different than what we usually see because they've got the wooden handles, and this one with the background. And again, the prices on these are good, about $12 each. I mean, in a modernist vintage store, I would expect those to be priced about $35 to $40 each.
Okay.
So.
Who wants to take George into your room?
Yes, please.
Carrie, you're on a roll.
We got a Carrie.
Okay.
This is it.
Oh,
Now
this is
listen,
fun.
I just moved my house.
You do
Well,
not
I-
need to make excuses
I
for
do,
your booth.
I
No, you don't. It's awesome.
So I think things have been going pretty good. I know that I need to get more stuff into my booth. So stay tuned because things will be coming. Once I get the Christmas stuff out, I've got another little thought of something that I want to try to do that's different in there. But so far, so good. Can I tell you how many lovely people I have met that have come just to visit? I mean, you know, it's so funny. People are like, Carrie, and I'm like, I don't know you, but I'm going to give you a hug. So I give them a hug, and I don't know, it's just fabulous. So thank you to everybody that's coming out and visiting us because you're the people that are gonna make us successful. So thank you.
You have something that I haven't seen in a while, and I believe that's Santa Anita ware. And it's a late piece for them, and I'm curious to look at it because I haven't seen one of these in ages. So let's see here. Yeah, this is Santa Anita ware. On my eBay video last month, I sold one of their 50s patterns, but this is what they were doing by the 1970s, and this was really right about the end of their production. And I just happened to spot it because I wanted to write a book on this company, and I never could find enough information to really give them credit for what they did. So that's how I knew it without looking at the back. But there's the Santa Anita mark on the back, so now you'll all know to look for these. And I mean, This is so flower power and so early
Yes.
70s, and the colors are just great. And your price on it is
Is it good or bad?
35, which I think is actually a very, very reasonable price for what it is. Because it's a good size and it doesn't have any damage. These chipped pretty easily, so that's why we don't see them anymore. But there would have been this with all the places for your sauces and then your various chips and dips or whatever. And then there would have been side bowls that each looked like an individual flower. And they also did them in blues and greens and other color combinations of that time. So you've got a lot of fun stuff in here.
Milk glass dresser tray.
And
that
your
is
prices seem reasonable to very good, I think. This is sunny Las Vegas, and I've watched his channel, and I'm excited to see. Show me where you've got a booth here.
Not just me, it's me and Mikey. Bags of money.
Oh, you share, huh? Oh, well, we'll get Mikey over here too. Ah, that's great.
We're a package.
You know, I got you a little something for Christmas. And I was like, you know, I got to wrap it all together because they're a package deal.
Hello there.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Yes, and I have to say, I just discovered you because of the fact that you're involved in this, and because Tiffany and Danny ran into you doing a live at a Goodwill.
Awesome.
Which is pretty fun, actually. I have to say, you're very brave. I never find one that either has good reception or doesn't have the music up so loud that.
Right.
So you've done very well with that.
Thank you. It's a constant challenge streaming live, but hey, you just go for it and hope it all turns out well. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're doing it right now, and so far so good.
So far, so
you
good.
know.
Let's go see what goodies we
Yeah,
got in
so
the
this
room.
is your spot in here. Cool.
Our little booth.
Oh, wow.
Who goes?
Super Bowl football. That's cool.
Football.
Degrazia. I'm definitely seeing people starting to pick up on Degrazia. It's I guess that they started doing their art back in the 60s, so there are some real vintage pieces that are going. Do you know the story on this? It's really cool. And, you know, I don't mind what they did with it because I'm sure the globe got destroyed years ago. And yeah, very fun. You know, for those of you who are uranium glass collectors, after a while, if you're just doing the green or you're just doing the Vaseline, it starts to get a little bit of a blur where you can't really pick pieces out. So you may want to look for different shades because they do have differences in the way they glow, and you may be able to make a more interesting assemblage, the assemblage that way. Wow, there's really cute stuff in here, actually.
Yes,
but,
I love their stuff.
oh, yes, I recognize this set. Yeah, that's Sarah Coventry.
Oh, we need a key.
There we go. Okay, so this, what I find interesting about this is that I just like the way that it's studded with the stars in here, and I don't know who the maker is on this, but it's a little older than it looks. People might get confused with this little hanging piece here, thinking that this is a newer piece. Well, this one is the one. Okay, now this one's going to have a little tag on it. And here's our newer, okay, here's what our newer hooks look like.
The little lobster claw.
Yeah, the little lobster claw, exactly. That's what a new hook on a piece of jewelry looks like. Now, sometimes you'll see old pieces where they had the thing broken and they redid it. And in that case, you might see that on an old piece. But generally, that's a newer one. I'm going to see if we can see who the name on this is.
Here we go, loop-de-loop.
Yeah, always good to bring your loop with you. Okay. F.I. Okay, I've seen that too. I was thinking it was Sorelli. It's another company. But it's nicely made. You know, again, people buy jewelry because they like the way it looks. And some people really, really love vintage, but some people, you know, they just want color or they just want a design. And this is actually a nice looking piece. There we go. I think I've got it where you can see
like
the
a-
tag.
Is he like
There
a
we go.
stingray?
Yeah, I like that.
That's
That seems like
cool.
something that would sell in Florida. And that actually has a Spain mark on it. So this is 1970s Spanish, where you see this damascene that was very popular in Spain at the time. So that's really cute too. But I like the one I picked out the best for me. Oh, and a fortune cookie.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, and Swarovski crystals, yes, $15.
The hair.
Oh yes, the hair comb. That one is probably 1980s, I'm thinking, but it's got the Lily of the Valley on it, so that's kind of cute. And made in France, it says, $20.
Ooh la la.
Very neat, yeah, and the old Sarah Coventry. so
Everybody
that's
right
one
now
of their
saying, Danny,
better
don't try to
ones.
speak French. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh, the panda is very cute. $48 on that.
We are getting close to battery
Uh-oh.
Okay, and a menorah keychain with a little stamp on the bottom. Well, there's some cute stuff in here. But if we're starting to run low on our battery, I think what I'd like to do, we can keep going on your channel, but I'd like for my viewers to be able to watch a little bit more. This was very popular in the early 60s. A friend of mine's dad worked for Libby Glass, and he was actually the one who figured out how to make a nice, you know, that gold leaf, the gold maple leaf you see on glass all the time, and it's everywhere in every thrift store. He invented the process for them, and it was about 1960, and so of course immediately the secret got shared, and it was a way for them to decorate things in gold that wasn't really expensive. It didn't require gold leaf, and because of that it became very popular. It also was the early 60s, and it was sort of the Jackie Kennedy era, and you know, schmaltzy and fancy was in, and so gold became a thing. So every company started to do stuff like this. I like this particular one. I always liked the Stangle because I thought that they did a nice job mixing it with other colors.
I'm surprised Stangle isn't doing better than it is, because it's really an attractive pottery.
It's really good, and I'm starting to see the bigger and more interesting pieces from this area are starting to sell. And I agree with you. I think it's I think everybody associates it with the birds, and they made tons of the birds, and they made lots of the dinnerware, and it's all good quality. And all of it had a bigger collector following 20 or 30 years ago. And I think we're going to see that starting to happen again because, you know, like this piece is priced at $65, which I think is a right-on price.
Now, you probably already know what that one is, right?
Well, I saw the label when you flipped it over. This is Rosenthal Netter, and this is made in Italy. You know, everyone's all crazy for Raymore because they worked with Vitosi and Aldo Landi. And oh, by the way, is Tiffany coming today? Because I found an ID on her bowl.
She was supposed to.
Okay, well, when we see her, we'll see her. But in any event, this particular company, I think they made some really nice stuff too that was brought over from Italy, and that it's actually a little bit more of a sleeper at this point. But I think people are going to catch on. This one, 65, I mean, that seems like the right price. Modernists are paying up for this kind of stuff. And then we see some Tonala. And that one has, oh, an AM mark. That's interesting. That's not an artist that I know, but I think, you know, I look for KE because that's Ken Edwards, and he was the progenitor, but there's so many other good people who did this stuff, and I need to learn more about them because there's the mark there on that one.
We'll just have to go there.
Yes, I would like to go there. It's actually not far from Oaxaca, where a lot of the silver is, in Toxco, so... little fairy lamp. Boy, people are wild for fairy lamps now. And there is a nice little Fenton one. And next to that, this little Russian box. I always like the little Russian fairy tale boxes. I don't know which fairy tale this is, but it's got the signature of the town and the artist as well. And nice enamel lacquer. And that one's $30, which is actually, for a larger piece, on the soft side of retail, I would say, actually. So yeah, there's cool stuff here. I like that little piece. Small Navajo pot, and they're right about the price on this. They've got $42. It's signed. The small ones actually are more valuable than the larger ones.
They were harder to make.
They were harder to make, or at least as much effort for a lot less money. So they didn't make as many. It's the same with a lot of, you talk to glass blowers too, and they're like, oh yeah, we made those little pieces and we could have made a big one and gotten 3 times the price. So they weren't as motivated to make the little ones.
So I tell you what I'm going to do here. So folks, let me see if I can flip my camera around. Hold on, stand by, because now George is still live. I am going to get you guys to go over to George's channel. I'm going to wrap mine up. But the conversation will keep going. George and I went around the store. We got lost in the time. I think it was about 3 hours, and just finding things to talk about. And again, just the why, the who, the what, what's the value. I mean, he is a certified appraiser, so.
I'm very impressed. I think it's great. I'm so excited to see a lot of antiques and vintage as opposed to just thrift items. But I actually bought some practical things for the house too. So it was a really nice stop, and what a great bunch of people. I mean, it's just so fun to see the community getting together and doing something in the real world. Part of the reason I started my YouTube channel, besides trying to help educate people about antiques and vintage, is because I wanted to keep people interested in coming and doing things in the real world because, I do antique shows and I'm in malls, and for a while we saw people kind of drifting away from that. Everything was just online, and the fact that the online world and the real world of antiques and vintage is coming back together and having the same sense of community and connection and interest and mutual help is just really, really satisfying to me. So I'm excited about the store because it just seems like the next step in the evolution of that.
Oh, that was a really fun live stream.
It was really fun for me. Thank you so much. I'm just so enjoying your store, and show me more.
Okay, there is. I was thinking after we were done, there's a couple things that I didn't get to show you.
Oh,
so,
perfect. Yeah, I mean, when we're talking to other people on camera, it's going to be
Right?
like that. You're going to
Yeah.
miss something. So good.
So
Show me
let
where.
me show you these cool little things. So again, I found these out of Goodwill.
Oh, that's so cool. I love miniatures, and look at all that.
Got this one, and I've got that one down
Oh,
there.
the dioramas. Yeah. Oh, that's neat. I found some really good ones in estate sales, and it was such a thing that people used to. That was what they did for time. Now they just do this on the computer.
I look at this and I thought, I would love to do. I mean, I so admire it, but I'm like, the time.
Exactly. That's like when I'm retired time. Yes.
What's that?
I don't know.
Retired?
Yeah, I hear people do that.
Is that a thing?
I hope maybe someday. When they pry the last antique out of my cold dead hands.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are cool.
I was going to ask you, what are your thoughts on books and where books are going?
Well, people right now, it's funny, books were really down because people are getting Kindles and readers and all that. But now what I'm seeing is that first it started with they like things like this that look good on a shelf together, and it was just decorative. Well, now some people are starting to say, you know what, especially for old titles like this, oh, it's fun, the feel of the book, oh, this feels good in my hands, this is interesting, oh, the graphics are different. So I'm starting to see younger people being interested in these, and this looks like you've got most of this set. It looks like it's 8 volumes of world.
Who put these up here? Wait, who put these up here? 1, 2, 3. We're missing 4. We're missing 4. There's 5. Look at me and my Roman numerals. I got it. I got this. 6, 7, 8. I wonder how many there were.
That's a good question. There might have been 9 or 10, but who knows? It could have been 8. It says incomplete set, but still pretty neat, and only $50. I mean, think about that. That's like what, about $6.50 a book? I mean, that's a great price on those.
Awesome.
Yes. So my thought is that books are good. I mean, I look at titles, but I buy books all the time. I bought a copy of Animal Farm for $3 at a thrift store, and it had the dust jacket, and it was the first edition. I thought, oh, this is neat. And I thought, well, Animal Farm, everyone knows that, and so there must be a jillions of them. It sold for $150 on
Wow.
eBay. So
Nice.
books are a thing. Don't think books are over. They're not.
Okay, awesome. I love
Yes.
books. Oh my gosh. I have a pin. Oh my gosh. Stand by.
Okay. I'm excited. I don't know what this is going to be, but we will find out in a moment here. Boy, this has been a lot of fun. And this is so much more than I expected it to be. I saw the video, and her emphasis, understandably, because it is a thrift store, was on the thrifted items. But I'm looking at the antiques and vintage, and I did not expect to find so much in this place. So this has been really good. And now we're going to see what she's got here.
Like, this is one of those pieces that it's so cool that somebody put this together.
Oh, cool.
Isn't that awesome?
Wow, oil derricks in Pennsylvania around 19 teens, judging by this card, latex oil and gas. I've never heard of that.
I couldn't find anything.
Wow, that's really interesting. And then there's a flood. Oh, wow, that's interesting. I bet you could probably date it exactly if you looked for floods
'cause
around 19... Oh, well, actually, it says right down there, 1904.
1904.
Yeah, and these cars are later than that, so it's kind of a assemblage, yes.
yeah.
But wow, that's really
See,
cool.
I didn't even notice that was a flood. You're right.
Oh yeah, people like flood pictures. In fact, I collect stereoscope cards.
Yeah.
And there's so many that I decided I had to pick something, and for some reason I started seeing them with the San Francisco earthquake, and they were so interesting to me that I decided I'm collecting natural disasters. And so because of that, I've got a bunch that have like the St. Louis flood of 1904 and all this kind of stuff. So
I think that's 1907.
1907. Okay. Yeah, so if you can find where there was a flood in Pennsylvania in 1907, you probably be able to figure that out. But that's so cool.
So how do you value something like that? That's obviously like a personal collection of.
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, this is terrible to say, but the question...
Condition is not good.
Condition's not great, but there's also the issue of collection effect. In some cases, a collection of things together is worth more than the pieces individually. In this case, I hate to say it, but I would probably break them apart and sell them by the piece, because I think by the piece, you know, somebody who's really interested in early cars might want this. Someone who's interested in early oil stuff might want this, and someone who collects natural disasters or this town in Pennsylvania might want that. So you're more likely to find your collector, especially because I'm sure these are real photo postcards. So, yeah, neat. I like it, and I like what you paid for it.
You like what I paid for it? Oh yeah, and I got my senior discount on that. I am going to try really hard to get George back here on a regular basis. I just think his knowledge is so valuable, and I would love to set up maybe like a little appraisal fair or something. If I could talk him into coming back to Vegas, let's see if we can make that happen. So we've now been open for 3 weeks, and it's Christmas, and it's truly been just like celebrating with my family, these friends, the people I've hired, the people who have the rooms, like we're all family here now in just as short a time, and we just love working together, hanging out together, and making this whole thing happen. So if you want to see more episodes of The Good Stuff, like and subscribe to The Niche Lady.